During the weeks of December, the fighting strength of the army was deteriorating at a horrendous pace. The blame for this lay mainly in the inadequate airlift. Here, a catastrophic picture was slowly emerging. In order to be able to maintain its ability to live and fight, our army had initially requested 750 tons of supplies per day, later reducing this to 500 tons per day. The Ju-52 cargo aircraft had about a 2-ton load. The HE-111 fighter bomber held about 1.5 tons. So this is going to require like 2,000 aircraft to be able to make this happen. What do they end up with? Back to the book, they only brought in 80 to 120 tons of the required supplies. In other words, not more than 1/5 of the amount needed. Purely and simply, this meant a daily deficit of 10,000 kilograms of bread and a fatal undersupply of desperately needed fuel and ammunition. So we're getting 1/5 of what they need. Now, we have to be careful because that's a little statistic that we're throwing out there, right? Like, oh, we're getting 1/5 of what we need. But now think of a human being and what you need as a human being, just food. And you cut that down to 1/5 of what you need. You know, you need 2,500 calories a day. You're going to get 500. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You need, and by the way, you're fighting and you're being attacked. So you need 1,000 bullets a day, right? You need 1,000 bullets a day. You're getting 120 bullets. Things are not looking good. Back to the book. The sun set soon after lunch, and by 1400 to 1500 hours, it was already dark. So this is now we're talking Russian winter. By 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's dark. And every day, this too reminded us depressingly, here in the desolation of the snowbound steppe, of the enormous distance that separated us from home. Were we not all, the living and the dead, long buried in a gigantic mass grave? Thoughts like this occasionally befell me when I returned from various sectors of the front, where in my role as liaison officer, I had been sent on specific assignments to gather urgently needed information. There, on the heights above the infamous Roshaka Valley, the men of our divisions lay in desperate battle, demanding bloody sacrifice. There in the trenches and foxholes in the snow, the soldiers were dying of exhaustion and cold because their steadily shrinking rations of bread and other food issued were no longer sufficient to provide the physical stamina needed to combat frost and sickness. So they're starving to death. They're starving to death and they're freezing to death, and they're being attacked and killed by the Russians.
With no ammo.
With no ammo.